The United Kingdom's Ministry of Defense latest intelligence update on Ukraine. June 27, 2023, Ukrainian airborne forces have made small advances east from the village of Krasnohorivka, near Donetsk city, which sits on the old line of control. This is one of the first instances since Russia's February 2022 invasion that Ukrainian forces have highly likely recaptured an area of territory occupied by Russia since 2014. Recent multiple concurrent Ukrainian assaults throughout the Donbass have likely overstretched Donetsk People's Republic and Chechen forces operating in this area. The Institute for the Study of War, Russian Offensive Campaign Assessment. Russian President Vladimir Putin is trying to present Wagner Group financier Yevgeny Prigozhin as corrupt and a liar to destroy his reputation among Wagner personnel and within Russian society. Vladimir Putin implied on June 27 that the owner of Concord Company, the Concord Company is the parent company of Prigozhin's catering company, lied about the Wagner Group private military company's independence from the Kremlin and the lack of state compensation for Wagner personnel. Vladimir Putin publicly claimed for the first time since Wagner's founding that the Kremlin fully funds and fully supplies the Wagner private military company, and claimed that the Kremlin made various payments to Wagner personnel and their families from Russia's federal budget. Vladimir Putin added that the owner of the Concord Company received 80 billion rubles, about $936 million, between May 2022 and May 2023 for delivering and catering food to the Russian military, and that the Kremlin will investigate whether the company stole anything during its work for the Kremlin. Putin was clearly referring to Prigozhin, who is the owner of the Concord Company Group and previously worked as Putin's personal caterer, but Putin continues to refuse to say Prigozhin's name. Vladimir Putin's insinuation that the Kremlin will investigate the Concord Company may be preparation to justify the Kremlin's confiscation of Prigozhin's assets via corruption charges. The Institute for the Study of War key takeaways today. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko's account of his mediation between Putin and Prigozhin on June 24-25 in tandem with Putin's June 26 speech indicates that Putin promised Lukashenko and Prigozhin that Prigozhin and the Wagner Group would have security guarantees in Belarus. Lukashenko likely seeks to use the Wagner Group in Belarus to buy maneuvering space to balance against the Kremlin campaign to absorb Belarus via the Union State, and likely seeks to closely control any Wagner Group forces that move into Belarus. Lukashenko also announced on June 27 that Belarus had received an unspecified number of Russian nuclear weapons on a previous date, a development that Lukashenko may also use to balance against the Kremlin's campaign to absorb Belarus via the Union State. The ongoing Putin-Lukashenko-Prigozhin power play is not yet over and will continue to have short-term and long-term consequences that may benefit Ukraine. The Kremlin campaign to destroy Prigozhin's reputation and possibly dissolve the Wagner Group's Ukraine force decreases the probability of Putin announcing a new round of reserve mobilization in the near term. Ukrainian forces conducted counteroffensive operations on at least 4 sectors of the front and reportedly made gains on June 27. Russian President Vladimir Putin identified the Ukrainian main counteroffensive effort on June 27, possibly signaling his own defensive priority. Russian and Ukrainian forces continued limited ground attacks northwest of Svatov and south of Kreminna. Ukrainian officials are signaling that Ukrainian forces are capitalizing on the armed rebellion in Russia and intensifying counteroffensive operations in the Bakhmut area as of June 27. Ukrainian forces continued counteroffensive operations in the Donetsk, Zaporizhia Oblast's administrative border area. Russian military bloggers expressed concern at Ukrainian attempts to advance south of Kherson city. Russian officials expressed varied opinions on the future of private military companies in response to the armed rebellion. The United Nations reported that Russia has detained hundreds of Ukrainian civilians since the start of the war in Ukraine.